Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is a beer from Brewdog. This is their Punk IPA. This is their flagship IPA. So this beer comes in at 5.6%, so a little bit lower in alcohol because IPAs generally, it is in the BJCP range, but like generally range in 6 to 7%. This is their classic take on IPA. It has some caramel character to it as they advertise, and it also has notes of tropical fruit with grapefruit, pineapple, and lychee with a bitter finish. So this is actually brewed in Ohio, so they actually have a brewery in Ohio, even though they're a company based out of Scotland. So let's dig into this one. The beer comes in a medium to deep gold color, yellowish off-white head. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, nice kind of classic breadiness, a little bit of honey and caramel malty qualities. Singing with some light kind of grassiness and green tea and maybe some of that lychee character. Maybe a touch of that kind of grapefruit zest. I'm also maybe getting a little bit of that floral pineapple note as well. Cheers. Okay. So the tasting notes that you're talking about are, in there a little bit. You get a little bit of whisper of that kind of, it's like a light touch of pineapple air freshener or something like that, not really like pure fruit juice kind of qualities. You get a little bit of zesty grapefruit, and then it has a really nice kind of honeyed malt character. This beer is actually not that sweet, but it does have a complexity of malts, which is quite nice. There's a little bit of light bread crust in there, some of that honey note, a little bit of that green tea honeyed sweetness. Quite lacking in bitterness. The one thing I will say about this beer, like first impression, like holy smokes, this beer is watery. This beer drinks nothing like IPA or what I think of IPA at all. The lack of bitterness is quite prominent. The malt complexity is good, but lack of sweetness is not quite there. So it is the reminder of malt without the sweetness underlying it. And then the hops are decently there. I personally would have guessed that this beer was somewhere around 4.5 to 4.8%. For sure would have guessed that this was a session IPA. Would have guessed it was like a Firestone Walker, Easy Jack, or Founders All Day or something like that. This beer does not really drink like pale ale. If you want to rank it of what it really tastes like, it's bottom IPA, then pale ale, then it drinks like session IPA. So it's actually pretty reverse that this is their flagship IPA because it really is a watery beer. It really does a good job, I think, introducing people into IPA because it has that water quality of macro beer. It's lower in alcohol, not as big as some classic IPAs. But then it still has those hop aromatics. It's lacking in bitterness, right? It sort of has those hop qualities that sort of introduce you into a little bit more flavorful, a little bit more hop-centric of a beer, removing you from macro beer, but it still has whispers of it because it's just so watery. Yeah, it's just low alcohol. And so really, it's hard because I prefer to review beers for what they are, not what they advertise they are going to be. But this beer is 5.6%, so you're sort of just losing almost a full ABV of experience. You're getting more alcohol and calories without the flavor that you'd want from a quote-unquote IPA. So it's sort of cheating you. It's sort of like getting a session IPA, but you're getting a little bit more alcohol with it. And maybe you do want that. So I don't know. It's fine beer. As for rating, it's a crusher. This is something you just keep cracking and not really think of. I think some of the session IPAs can be a little bit more aromatic, a little bit more zingy, and a little bit more refreshing, but this is right in line with that. This is in line. Again, this is just like six-pack, crush it, hoppy, don't really think about it, and just does its job. It's 5.6%, so it'll do a little bit more better work than a under 5% session IPA. This beer for me is getting an 83. I still think it's a good beer, just not really punk IPA. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Let me know what you think. Later.